Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome back to the Games and Culture channel. It's been long awaited. It's finally here. It's our Switch 2 review.
Other reviews we have to do, but Switch 2. But it's good enough.
We promised that Metaphor is coming. It's just so long. But we are going to knock out Switch 2 review today. It's been nearly 3 months. Here, 3 months and a couple days of recording this that the Switch 2 has been out, and we've spent a very good amount of time with it, playing Switch 2
Yeah.
games, playing non-Switch 2 games, and so we are finally at a point that we can talk about it, so that if you are on the fence about buying one, you can check out this review, and hopefully we'll answer some of your questions, or maybe alleviate some of your concerns that you have with Nintendo's brand new piece of hardware. Um, but we'll just kind of speak generally right now. I mean, Nick, are you enjoying your Switch 2? Was it worth the money that you spent on it?
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, it's. I think the theme of our review, we won't go to death, but I think the thing is like this thing, um, doesn't have the wow factor the original has. And I mean, I've said a couple people who have asked me like on the street who've seen I have it when I'm playing, in line waiting for something like that. Um, because I mean, it is just a sequel device. Like this is the first time Nintendo's ever called something two.
Yep.
So, and this made a direct upgrade. So that's what this is, the direct upgrade. But that's what I wanted, so I'm not going to use it as a point against it. I'm going to use a point in favor of it, honestly. That's because exactly what I wanted. So, yeah, I mean, I have it. There's no reason for me to go back to my Switch 1 now that I have this.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
I mean, and during the Switch One's lifespan, I feel like a whole lot of people were asking for a Switch Pro, for Switch Pro, for Switch Pro. This is essentially the Switch Pro, and it's a sequel device. Like, this essentially is a Switch Pro. I 100% agree with you. It does lack that wow factor. I mean, even to the console's outwardly design, I feel like it lacks kind of the trademark Nintendo kind of like bright colors in your face, design, those kind of things, and in favor of just being a more functional version of dare I say the masterpiece that they released before. Switch 2 is the third best-selling console of all time. Nintendo truly did knock it out of the park. Um, and so I think the idea was sound. They wanted to just continue doing that, and
Yeah,
they made a device that could.
yeah, no,
Um,
I 100% agree. I mean, there's nothing. Everything I expected, but there are some things I'm like, oh, I'm surprised the system can do that, which are little nice bonuses. But the main crux of the thing was I just needed a more powerful Switch because by the end of the Switch's one's life, it was getting rough out there.
yeah.
Like
Uh,
there was some games that had issue, like I think Zelda Echoes of Wisdom had a bunch of issues. A lot of games just struggled on the Switch 1. The Switch 2, but if they don't need a patch to kick off the cap, then they kind of fix themselves automatically almost.
yeah.
Like the aforementioned Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, Switch One was towards the last 2 years was struggling to run Princess Peach Showtime. Like there are parts of that game where the frames would drop below 30. Like, make no mistake, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom running on the Switch One is a feat of technical wizardry that Nintendo will probably have to go at length and explain how they got it to do it, because it is at this point a mystery, because like, holy shit, that shouldn't have been possible. The Switch 2 is more in line with, I think, what you would expect a system to run those like bigger games at. um I truly believe, I think the Switch 2 was supposed to launch with Tears of the Kingdom, and they just didn't want to cut the generation off early, because the Switch was still selling at that point. But I digress. So we can get into some of the more specifics now that we've talked a little bit generally. It is a stronger Switch, both out of dock and in dock. Um, it is capable of 1080p in handheld mode, which is fantastic. The Switch One, I believe, only capped out at 720p. And if you were if you played some of the third party offerings, it only topped out at 480p, like a Witcher 3.
Yeah, it
um,
was. It was rough out there.
Yeah, so
The-
this is a full HD console, a lot closer in line with a lot of the PC handhelds that you see out there, like the Steam Deck and ROG Ally. Not as powerful as
I,
those guys, but
no, I think it's in between the Steam Deck and the Rogue Ally. I think on paper the Switch 2 is more powerful than the Steam Deck.
I
Cause
mean, you probably in CPU and stuff like that, but the Steam Deck still has a solid state drive, so
yeah, that's not a state drive, but this thing, the Switch 2 does have a upscaler in there, and that's helping it a lot.
yes, yes,
Um, which so this I would say this thing is roughly a little bit more powerful than a PS4, which for a handheld that's really freaking good.
yes, yes. And then in dock, it can upscale to 4K, which is great. Very much so in line, kind of like how the PS4 Pro does 4K. It doesn't actually
Yeah,
do true 4K, upscales to like 2100p or something like that.
yeah.
But still, I mean, for the Switch, this is what the Switch we were talking about. I think that is fantastic. They did
Mhm.
redesign the dock, making it a little bit sleeker. It's nice. Whatever. The dock is not the star of the show. um, but yeah, I mean, in terms of technical specs, it's a lot better. Playing Tears of the Kingdom in the Switch 2 version and using Master Hand, there's no frame drops. Everything runs smoothly. Um, Even though this screen is not an not a OLED screen, it is lit very, very well. So the colors are very, very vibrant. I still would have wished it was an OLED screen, mostly just because I know they're gonna save that for a re-release of this, and so I'm gonna have to buy another freaking Switch 2.
I know what we
um,
did the first time. I saw what we did. Like, okay, you are gonna do it again, aren't you? Yeah, you are.
yeah,
Yes, I
so
am.
I really wish that just
oh,
they just had packaged it with the
I
OLED
agree. I
screen.
agree. I agree. But until we showed it no once, like, are you gonna do it again for us? And
Yeah,
we're gonna be like, yes, yes, Nintendo.
yes. Which I think does set kind of a deadly precedent, because I think if they would have done the OLED screen, they would have been incentivized to do a Pro Switch 2 later down the generational line, versus now they'll just do an OLED and we'll run into the same Switch 1 problem of the last 3 years are going to be extremely rough for the Switch 2. But I mean, maybe they won't. Who knows? Maybe this hardware has a little bit more staying power. Who knows? Um, in addition to updating the console themselves, they did update the game cartridges. They are now red. No, they hold more storage. They are faster cartridges.
yeah.
So it is nice that they color coded them red though, so that you know which is Switch 2, which is Switch 1. Um, and the Switch 2 games that I have played on my Switch 2 have been great. I have played the Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 version, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World, and the Switch 2 version of Rydao. And everything's been great. Um, I will say, which we'll talk about this more in the Donkey Kong Bonanza video. I did have some frame drops in Donkey Kong Bonanza, especially in the last boss where things kind of got crazy and there was lots of assets on the screen. So this definitely is still an underpowered console for the time. And I think that we still will run into some issues where third party offerings may not use the system as well as Nintendo uses the system. But I think that is just to be expected with a console that is not to the level of PS5 and Xbox and
Yeah, well, I
PCs.
mean, even some games that are on those PCs and other consoles that are struggling. That's just there's optimization issues. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll cover the Donkey Kong thing, but it's definitely not. It wasn't. It was a big deal, but it's not that big a deal.
Yeah,
You
it's not
know,
that
I
big.
guess you put it that way.
Um, talking about some other features, the Joy Cons are now magnetic, which is just lovely as a fidget toy while you're playing the game. But it also, I feel, is a stronger connection to the console itself with those railings that they had with the Switch One. I always did kind of feel it just not being 100% secure. And even though this is also still not 100% secure, you can still move them a little bit. It feels more secure when I'm holding it in my hand, especially since I predominantly play in handheld mode. So,
Yeah,
um,
I'm close to 50-50, I guess. But yeah, the snap this thing makes I mean, I don't know if I'm picking it up, but
it did
it's
not. Here,
much
let
more
me try. Let me try.
satisfying.
Let me try.
No.
Yeah, it's not loud
Well,
enough.
you can't hear it on our mics, but the snap these things make when they pop in are much more satisfying than the Switch's clicks.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's good audio feedback too of like your Joy Cons in there. Um,
Yeah.
the Joy Cons are a bit meatier as well. They are a bit taller and they feel they're a little bit more rounded than the Switch One version. They increased the real estate for the R and L buttons on the top, which is nice. And the bigger Joy Cons do feel a lot better
Okay.
in the hand.
Mm-hmm. Just
I
feel much
do,
better.
yeah, I do wish that in order to keep this thing literally the same size as a Switch One, um, they couldn't do this, but I do wish they would have added just a little bit more to the back here to make it a little bit more ergonomically friendly, because it still does kind of cramp the hand when you're holding on to it, since a controller shouldn't be flat like that. Like, they have handles to hold on to. And so I do wish that Nintendo would have done something like that, where there's just a little bit more meat to hang on to, make it a little bit more ergonomically friendly. Um, I do understand why they still wanted it to be as thin and as portable as the Switch One, but I don't really think that that would have done much to do that. Um, I am still just gonna buy a Satisfy grip for shout outs to them if they want to sponsor us for this, because it's just not as comfortable as holding a PS5 controller, a Steam Deck, or even the fantastic Pro controller. um, so I mean, where do you land with the ergonomics of the Joy Cons and the console?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I don't. It definitely does not cramp as much as the Switch One does,
For
though. It
sure.
did. So it's definitely an issue. I can see that. I think, um, with the little bit that did change, it is feel, and but also by the time it becomes a problem, this thing's battery life isn't great.
No.
So by the time your hand gets cramped, well, the system's dying anyway. So
Fair enough. We'll get to
yeah,
battery in a minute. We'll keep talking about the Joy Cons here. All the buttons feel good. They kept the same joystick style, which I don't mind. But these are now Hall effect sticks, meaning they should not drift, because instead of springs, it's magnets in there that's controlling everything. So when you have a problem, you just get rid of it. We're just gonna do the whole through thing. And this is the first party controller to have Hall effect sticks, which is a huge deal. Hopefully these become industry standard. I have not had any problems with my Joy-Con analog sticks with these. I only had one pair of Joy-Cons in all of my time with my Switch 1 that got drift, so it wasn't a problem that I had faced a ton of, but so far so good on these guys. And then the biggest change is that these Joy-Cons can be
my
used as
the,
mice.
mm-hmm. That's one of the weirdest thing when they show that you can do that. Like in the reveal trailers, I'm like, what the fuck? You can do that? That's so cool. And like Pressure Prime 4-way playable like that, so you can use it as like a mouse pad on a first person shooter. Like, geez, that's one of the coolest features this thing has.
Yeah. So even when we're not innovating, we're still innovating, says Nintendo. So every Joy-Con has that little mouse sensor there, um,
Mm-hmm.
that you can, for pretty much anything, just take your Joy-Con off and use as a mouse. You can use it on the home screen, on the store page, and certain games that have it available. The Joy-Con straps this time around are for mouse mode. They have mice feet on them so that you can attach them to the Joy-Con and use them as a mouse. And it's very very cool. Um, the problem, in my opinion, is
It's a very thin.
yeah, it's a very uncomfortable mouse.
Yeah. As Bun
Um,
said, there are little things you can buy. I've seen already where you can
mhm.
get make the makes mouse comfortable, which is I will be necessary because I think there'll be games like Prime 4, which will be useful. But yeah, it is very thin compared to a normal mouse.
Especially since you also have to still be able to touch the buttons and use the buttons on the face of the controller. So it's very awkward to hold in your hand and try to use it as a mouse. Um, it's a really cool idea. I think that they just should have made an accessory of their own. Like you have all these people that are 3D printing these mouse holders for your Joy Cons. It's surprising to me that Nintendo wouldn't have just done that.
It would
Like
have been nice.
I understand not packaging them with them and giving the Joy-Con straps. Totally understand that. But like, why isn't there a Nintendo branded mouse controller?
Like just a little thing where the thing kind of clips in there and boom.
Yeah.
Would have been nice. I mean, maybe they're making one. Who knows? But it would be nice to see something like that first before we're like, oh, well, we're brainstorming like this.
Yeah. Because I think more people would use that feature since PC gaming is so prevalent. Since multiplayer games like Fortnite are so prevalent, like people, I think that'd be like a huge draw to having the Switch. Is be like, I can budget friendly. This is 450. PCs run 1200 plus. Like this would be cool to kind of do that. And hopefully maybe they'll package it with Metroid Prime 4. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
um
If they're not, I mean, I'll buy a third party one for Metro Prime 4, but I'll always want to get one of those things
yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, so that's gonna cover the controllers. Some other upgrades. They changed the stand on the back. I still think I prefer the OLED stand, but this thinner one is a little is it's a little bit more sleeker, a little bit nicer. I just really like the OLED one because I feel like it was less noticeable on the back of the Switch, personally. But it is a sturdy stand,
Yes.
which is what you look for.
Yeah, so it's definitely sturdier than I think the OLED one is. There's a more resistance there. But yeah, I mean, sleek wise, but also I think it bends backward. I mean, though not what goods that can do, but yeah, it's really nice. I mean, way better than the fucking original stand. The original stand was
Oh yeah, that little
awful.
plastic piddly thing. Oh my god, thing would come off all the time. One of the most important features to me, in my opinion, they changed how you open the game cartridge slot. On the OLEDs, it was notoriously very hard to open, but this time they added the opening like little divot on the back, and it just slides up perfectly.
Mhm.
So that's nice. I appreciate that, Nintendo. But yeah, it pretty much covers the exterior of the console. Everything except for this new button down here, the C button. As shown in the trailers and the reveals for the Switch 2, this is the chat button. Have you done any chats? Because I have not.
Oh, why the fuck would I not use Discord like that?
Yeah.
I saw. Doug, here's the thing. Every company, including Nintendo, will embellish their trailers to make things look better than they actually are. What they showed for that game chat was awful, and that's what they showed.
Yes. Yes.
I have no hope that's gonna be any good, so I didn't even bother.
Yeah, I didn't either. I appreciate that Nintendo has made this attempt, but why wouldn't you just go to Discord and be like, hey, can we put Discord on here? And I understand Nintendo's standpoint, safety issue, they want to protect kids. I totally understand that, but then why do it at all? This is very much so have your cake, eat it too, but the cake was like hastily made and not all the way
Mhm.
cooked, and there's still raw egg in there and raw dough in there, and it's just disgusting. And the whipped cream, I mean the icing wasn't whipped all the way, so it's grainy. Like that's what this cake is that Nintendo's eating.
Yeah, it would have been better. I mean, I get the thing, want to protect kids thing, but like, if one, it would have been better just not do that at all then. But if they're not concerned with it being their own voice, then just get Discord. And I think there would have been ways where you can use parental controls and just
Yes,
not have Discord be able to link up if you don't want it.
exactly.
So I wouldn't better just use Discord. And here's the thing, I do think eventually they're going to
Yeah,
like because I mean, now I don't know if the Xbox Series X and X already had Discord when its duration launch, but the PS5 didn't, and now it does. So it's an update that can be done pretty easily.
Yeah, and it'd be impactful because it's just better than this product is. And I like Sony realized that. That's why they included it as part of the PlayStation, and I think Nintendo should follow suit here because I mean, if this is one of the selling points for your new console, like this is not a good selling point, especially when you know to do
The fact of the matter is, there's a useless button on the right Joy-Con.
yeah, that I have accidentally hit multiple times
Mm-hmm.
and been more inconvenient. Something else they changed on the outside that I forgot to mention, the top charging port. Very nice. Just very
Mm-hmm.
nice. Very nice to have multiple options there. Getting into some of the internals, I hope this comes out decently well. As you can see on the home screen, it's the exact fucking same. Shit, dude.
Yeah, no effort.
No effort done.
Here's your same Switch OS. I mean, here's the one thing about Switch OS. I don't understand why they've never done themes for it.
Yeah,
Well, they could have done themes.
they
No,
could
we
have done
still have
things.
black and white. Same black and white we had 8 years ago.
I mean, at least let me change colors. Like, can I do a red one? Can I do a blue one? Like
Please.
solid colors, please. Some notable other things: the virtual game cards. I don't think we've ever talked about them on this channel.
It's annoying.
It's annoying. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to allow you to, let your friends and your family borrow the games that you purchased, and I think that's a commendable thing. But it's just stupid. Also, I do, however, like one thing about them that I can access the games that I purchased from the home screen rather than having to go into the store like you did on Switch One. I will say that that's nice.
Yeah.
But
Now
yes.
the virtual game cards aren't a Switch 2 specific thing. They're on the Switch 1 now as well.
Yeah. I don't play my Switch One anymore, so I'm talking about it with
No.
Switch Two. So let's circle back to that statement about the battery that you had. I think that's probably my biggest complaint with this new system. 2 hours and this thing is dead, if you're lucky.
Depending on the game you're playing, but still, like, yeah. But all the handhelds have bad battery life now. With Switch
Yes.
2, the Steam Deck, the Rogue Ally, they all have awful battery life. It is a case that we're swinging a little high with what these handhelds can do, and that does come across of battery life. Like, if you wanted to do more with that, you need a system the size of a PS5, and that thing's not portable.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a trades have to be made at some point to do what we're doing. So it's kind of it sucks, but it is what it is. Like, this is the best you can get. I don't think that to do better than the battery, the price would have to go up significantly.
Yeah, my thing is the battery life for the OLED felt better than this because the OLED's a lot more energy efficient in a screen, and so this just takes me back to this should have been an OLED, not only for the better display, but then also the battery life wouldn't have been a step down from the previous console. Like that, I hate it when console manufacturers make a new console and there are certain things that are indeed a step down from the previous one. And so with the Switch, the two step downs are the screen and the battery life, and both of those could just have been solved with the OLED screen.
Yeah, but I'm starting in. They're gonna also, when as generation goes on, re-releases of consoles aren't uncommon. I would imagine an OLED Switch 2 will have a better battery life and a better screen.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm not surprised that the way it would have been nice to not have it that way.
Yeah, yeah. But overall, Switch 2 has been great. Yeah, if you're a fan of the channel, you've seen my rants about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Switch 2 made that playable for me. So, Switch 2, in my opinion, can probably move mountains if I asked it nicely to. I mean, were there any other games standout wise that you saw like really great performance in? That you
I mean, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was most like, oh, this is an actual game now.
Yeah.
Pokemon Echoes of Wisdom. Pokemon. Ugh. Getting the two crossover. Legend of Zelda's Echoes of Wisdom is another one. Like Switch 1 performance was bad. Switch 2, 60 locked. So there's that. I heard the beta games are 60 locked now. So everything is running now. Most games are not running as they should, as I said earlier. The only games that are not really fixed are games that had a hard cap on the 30 frames per second. So those ones need a patch to fix. But if they were uncapped or attempting to hit 60, now they're just hitting 60.
Yeah. And I do hope that some developers do go back and do uncap the frame rates for certain titles on Switch 2. I think one that you and I talked about was Persona 5 Royal on Switch 2, locked at 30, which for Switch 1 was good. That was great. We definitely have the power now to do 60. So hopefully that happens, because that'd be nice. That would be nice. But yeah, I mean, anything else with the Switch 2 that you wanted to discuss before we move on to Mario Kart World?
No, I think it is what I just said at the beginning. It's not a very wow system. This is not doing anything novel really. I mean, there's a couple cool features, but it does not have the wow factor Switch 1 had. But it is just better than it. It runs things better. The games can be a bit more, something for innovative now that it has some extra juice. Donkey Kong, we'll do a review for in the future specifically, but there's no way Donkey Kong's Bonanza would work on the Switch 1.
Yeah, not without like major concessions to how the game works.
Yeah, so there definitely a lot of Nintendo's innovation can now flourish more because now the developers can. They're not Nintendo devs are not like other devs where it's like, okay, we have some extra juice. So this is make the game look better. They're gonna use that extra power to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and they already are with Donkey Kong Bonanza. So
yeah.
Do you want to? I mean, this is our first console review. Do you want to give it a rating? Yeah.
Yeah, I should give it a rating. I am going to give it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
I 100% agree with the 8 out of 10. It is what I wanted from a Switch 2. However, they didn't include some of the things that I would have wanted for a Switch 2. Most notably that OLED screen. But
in the battery life. Oh,
yeah, and the better battery life, and the chat button honestly does knock it down a point, in my opinion.
Yeah, very very useless button.
Yeah, just not a very well thought out feature. Especially because it does everything that Discord can do, just worse in every way. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Switch 2 seems right. That feels right. It's definitely worth the $450 for it. It looks like they're becoming more readily available. I was in a Target this weekend and there were Switch 2s in stock. Nintendo did use a lot of the time to make sure that there's going to be plenty of these, so you can definitely just go out and buy one today. Maybe not every place has them, but some place close to you will.
Yeah, honestly, but regards the price, yeah, I never thought it was much a Hollywood with the price of Switch 2 stuff. I never thought the system itself, its price was bad. I think $450 is a fair price for what the Switch 2 can do. As you consider economics and everything involved, I think $450 is fair. Now, it isn't the same way that the other game we're going to be discussing, Mario Kart World, is that was $80.
Yes.
That's a different story.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get into Mario Kart World. It only feels right to bundle them together since they both Switch 2 and Mario Kart World launched the same day. Both of us got Mario Kart World with our Switch 2s and have put in a good amount of time on it. I mean, we'll start from the top with the controversy. $80 for Mario Kart. Not worth it.
No, not worth it. It was not worth it. It's a good game. Yeah. $80? No.
For $60, you can buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then for $30 more, you can buy the season pass and have not only like 3 times the amount of tracks, but also a better Mario Kart, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But as we can go, we'll get into that as we go. So Mario Kart World, its biggest new attraction is 2 things. One, 24 racers on the track, and two, this very open world style game. So you can just free drive into the world, and pass through the world and hit every track along the way, type thing. You can do it alone. You can do it with friends. Um, it's really boring.
But it made open world with nothing in it.
Yes. Yeah. There's
It's
I don't know about you. I don't know how much time you spent in the open world. I did it once, drove around for like 5 minutes, and realized, oh, there's just nothing here.
there's it's good for like farming costumes. I want to farm some costumes. Like, okay, I know what. There's always a rapid fire unlocked like a bunch of costumes I was trying to get for characters.
Okay.
That way, I did that. But that's about it. That's about the advantage I found. Because like apparently you can unlock mirror mode in the game, but to do so, the open world stuff isn't really involved. So it's mostly just doing cups. So it's kind of like, okay. So I don't. It's their issue is a lot of like the Grand Prix tracks. You have your normal Grand Prix, 4 tracks, 3 laps each. That's not how the Mario Kart World does it. The first track is 3 laps each, but then they're connected with intermission tracks. Once the game has over 200, but they're just roads like highways
Yeah.
that connect the areas.
It's like they're nearly straight shots, like with some
Yeah,
curves, but like there's usually no obstacles. There's usually
just
like
traffic.
yeah, it's just traffic.
Uh, and when you do that in Grand Prix mode, like the straight the intermission track has like 2 laps. You get the track you're trying to get to, and you just do 1 lap around it.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, well, this fucking sucks. Really, I feel like that format only really works for Rainbow Road. Because like other track, like I wish I could do 2 laps around. Rainbow Road's so big, you do 1 whole lap around it, like that's enough.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree.
how that intermission track feeds into Rainbow Road works really well. But that's it. It really only works for the final track.
Yeah.
Everything else is like this is not as good. The one thing I will say that I think does work is the knockout tour function,
Yeah.
where it's one long race, and after any lap, which is there's 6 laps, 4 people are eliminated. So it's an elimination race, which I think that mode is really probably the best mode in the game.
Yes.
But the open world is like, this is a neat idea, but this definitely isn't the strongest. This isn't to say I think Mario Kart was a bad game. I don't think it's bad. I
No.
just think it's kind of like this series has
Lackluster
had,
is my
it's lackluster. Lackluster is the best word for it. This series has hit greater heights than this. I appreciate the experimental, but like this is one experiment that didn't really work out.
yeah.
I hope.
With the like the intermission tracks, I think they only really did those for Knockout Tour. I think that's precisely why, and they just wanted to keep using them, so that's why they shoehorned them into the Grand Prix. When I think everybody would rather do 3 laps of each track on the Grand Prix, like you normally would. Maybe you have them drive to the next track, and then whatever place they finish in that intermission is the place that they start out with in the start of the next race. I think that could be cool. But yeah, it's it's just a straight shot between racetracks. It's super boring. It's not interesting. I don't even feel like these places have much life to them. Like you would think if you're driving between fucking Princess Peach's castle and you know the shipyard with all the Donkey Kong barrel throwers and stuff, like you'd think you'd see more sights of the Mushroom Kingdom, but you just kind of don't.
No, it's there's that. I really think the next Mario Kart they make will go back to normal with this. I don't think this experiment well works. I think why I think I'm surprised there hasn't been patches to fix the Grand Prix stuff, like just put it as a setting. Let's say as it stands right now, this is a very weak Mario Kart.
Mhm.
There are some good tracks. The
Yes.
Boo Cinema's good. Rainbow Road I think is one of the best Rainbow Roads in the series.
Yes.
Um, Crown City is interesting. There are good tracks in here, but it's just mogged down by a bunch of odd decisions that don't
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah. Let's talk about 24 racers on the field. Since we talked about Mario Kart World, it's a blast. I really like the 24 racers.
I think it's a little too much.
I can see why you'd say that.
I don't. I think it can still work. I just think like Mario Kart's already a chaotic game, and this is like turning it up to 11. It's like I don't know. I feel like it would be a little bit nicer if we could just dial the craziness back just a little bit.
I mean, that's fair. I can totally see that. I like the extra craziness. Um, I think it's really, really fun to make a comeback from like 16th, 17th place all the way up because usually everything's pretty close together. Um, I will say, I think that the 24 racers does inhibit the track design because there's a lot of like in the track. I'm not talking about the intermission stuff. In the tracks, there's a lot of big open areas to accommodate 24 racers, and I feel like it has hampered some of the creativity of the racetracks because you have to accommodate for 24 people now. Um, because I think I think back at Baby Park. Baby Park, there's 12 racers. It's 6 laps. It's super tiny, and that's the fun of it. Is everything is happening. This track is the opposite of that. There's 24 racers. These like lanes are gigantic so that you can essentially fit all 24 racers standing next to each other, all going forward and not hitting each other type things. And I'm like, I think that needs to be reined in and we do some more creative things. Like, why is there not any tight passages that ram cars together and cause more chaos as you go in? It seems like even though you feel like it is chaotic, Nintendo's like, well, we don't want it to be chaotic. We want them to be 24 racers, but we don't want them to be like, falling
Yeah.
over each other.
Well, I think the issue is more with 24 racers. It's just there's so many irons constantly being
Yeah.
thrown where there's just no respite. And especially, it feels like the blue shell appears way too often. I think the blue shell's overtuned in this game. How often it comes out. I think just 24 racers, it's going to naturally appear more, but just like it's instead of becoming a cool moment like it is in other Mario Karts, this one feels like, oh my god, it's a blue shell again.
Yeah.
Um, I do wish there would be some like that you mentioned that though, like a Baby Park esque course for the 24 racers. Like, if we're gonna go, that crazy, then let's just go whole hog with it. In the weird sense, I do think you said I do think it stays in a weird zone where the 24 racers don't feel as good, but you could have made it better if you just went full tilt into it.
Yeah. Like why aren't there some tracks that have these like tighter corridors that force the racers kind of closer together
Yeah,
for more chaotic stuff? Like imagine being in like maybe a 3 car wide tunnel and somebody activates a bullet bill behind you. Like you're not escaping that bullet bill then. Like
no,
like they seem to the 24 racers came before the design decisions for courses, I think. And so they designed every course to be able to accommodate 24 racers when in reality they should have just made the courses and then said, okay, because like I think back to the one in the shipyard where the giant robotic gorillas are throwing the barrels. Nobody gets hit by that shit because it's so open and wide. Like nobody's gonna get hit by them because I can I have all of this space to work with.
no, I agree. I agree. So, yeah, it's a it's a decent game with just some strange decisions. I don't think this is as good as Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is not even my favorite Mario Kart. My favorite is Double Dash. But I don't think it even snaps up to those two at all.
Yeah, for sure. I like I like the cosmetic choices of things like the costumes for all of the characters and stuff like that. That's really fun. I do wish there was a more consistent way of unlocking them than picking up the food. I kind of wish they just had like a shop. Like you earn the coins from the game and you go to the shop and you can buy new outfits or you can buy new cars rather than unlocking stuff at random.
Yeah, that would be nice too. Um, But I guess it still works. And then like your unlocks for like doing missions in the free world, because there are missions, but they're really boring. But you can only get like stickers for your car, and it's like, well, I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah. So it's
Because
yeah,
you can't even customize the vehicles aside from the stickers. So like, why would I care? Why would I care?
no. I said there's just some weird decisions. As I respect them the want to experiment, but this is just not an experiment that paid off all the way.
Yeah, yeah. I think when they go back to the drawing board, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that sentiment for this Mario Kart was so middling that they do give us another Mario Kart this generation, and I hope they go back to the drawing board and change some things. I think there should be car customization or kart customization. Um, Even if it's just body, wheels, glider, and like a couple other things. Like it
Oh, the way
doesn't.
they used to have it,
Yeah,
like they had an 8.
yeah. It doesn't have to be complex, but it still gives strategy and uniqueness. Um,
Yeah.
I think that they should just do that and kind of do it like a body shop vibe in like Gran Turismo or Forza, where like I can customize the color of my car and stuff, and then actually use the stickers that you're giving me, stuff like that. And I think there
So
should
that's
just
what
be a
they're.
shop that I can buy outfits and stuff for cars that I want.
I don't know about the shop thing, but the customization thing is a thing they're doing in the upcoming Sonic racing game.
Yeah, yeah, and that game actually does some exciting shit that I'm excited for versus Mario Kart World. So is Mario Kart the only kart racer in town? No. If somebody comes along with a better performing idea, the battle for the battle for the holiday season, you know, it could be closer than what was previously thought. I don't think that Mario Kart World will sell as many copies as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has.
No.
Um, just because that game has already a game worth of tracks plus one round of DLC, well, 2 rounds of DLC tracks built into it. And then you had more DLC added. And so for $90, $10 more than what you pay for Mario Kart World, you can have 3 times the tracks, more characters because Link and Isabella and the Villager and Dry Bowser are in that game, and they're better tracks.
For the most part, yeah.
Like,
Mario Kart World has some good tracks, but yeah, Mario Kart 8 has better tracks.
yeah. So I mean, with that in mind, I mean, it's still a worthy pickup. It's still a good party game for for if
If
you
you
have friends over to check out your new Switch 2. But it may not be the best party game. I mean, you probably are still better off playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Super Smash Bros. Or one of the Mario parties.
if if you can get a Switch 2 bundled with the system, that's the way to go.
Yeah, because then it's
If you
only
can't,
$50.
yeah. If you can't, I there's I'm torn. Just because like I want to say wait till it's sale for this game, but Nintendo's not going to put it on sale, so it's kind of a I don't know. I understand they want to play Mario Kart because the reality is Nintendo chose at this point the only game they've done $80 on is Mario Kart because they knew it was kind of the one game they could get away with doing it.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
it's Mario Kart, so it's kind of a I mean I bought the $80 version of Mario Kart too, so I'm going to talk, but it's just kind of like I can't recommend it doing it but it's like I understand the want to play Mario Kart, so it's kind of a if you think you can withstand playing Mario Kart, not like you can do without, I would not get it. And honestly, I mean, we also do this for our show. We're more into games and stuff like that, so we're not. It's not our job, but it's in a sense.
Yeah,
But if you're just like want to play casually, I would honestly just pick up Mario Kart 8 if you haven't already. If you're getting this, if you're getting a Switch 2 and you didn't have a Switch 1, just buy Mario Kart 8.
yeah. Because again, that's $60. You already have double the content that Mario Kart World has, and for 30 more bucks, you can get even more great content, and only have spent $10 more than you would have spent on Mario
I
Kart
mean,
8. I mean Mario
I'm be
Kart 8.
real. I think the DLC content and the extra $30 content you get with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, is better than Mario Kart World.
Yes, I would also agree with that, 100%. So with I will say though, Mario Kart World did one really great thing, making Pauline a playable character. So
Yes, I mean Pauline's a new. I mean, Pauline's a character we've seen a lot of, and we'll be talking about Pauline in a Donkey Kong review that's upcoming. So yeah, she's definitely becoming a mainstay in the Mario franchise now. So
yep,
that's cool.
it's cool. But with all that in mind, Nick, what do you think for Mario Kart World? What's your rating?
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna be at this torn. I feel like I'm being generous here to an extent because after we spent a little bit of time shitting on it, I'm gonna go 6.5,
Oh,
6.5.
you see, you're harsher than me. I was gonna say a 7. I was gonna say 7.
I was tilting it also at 7, but I also felt like I don't know, 7 just seemed strong. So we're going 6.75, I guess,
Yeah,
aggregate.
I was gonna give it a 7 because the Mario Kart mechanics are still solid. Like it still is
Yeah.
fun to play. The carts feel like like they're supposed to. I think the
Yeah.
grinding mechanic is can be fun and open up some new routes, but just all of the
Oh,
other mire around the gameplay is what pulls it down, in my opinion.
yeah. There's as a technical game, as a technical experience, the game works fine. 60 frames a second, no drops. Every all that stuff works, and it feels like Mario Kart. That's 100%. I agree with. It's just there's a lot of experiments. It's just like this doesn't really help the Mario Kart
Yeah,
feel to it. So it runs into a detriment. I feel like there's enough there, especially with Grand Prix. Especially, I would probably be closer to a 7, maybe an 8, if Grand Prix wasn't in the condition it's in. But with Grand Prix, like just feeling like, oh, I don't want to do a Grand Prix. It's kind of hard for me to go that high with it.
fair enough. All right, so from the Games and Culture Pod channel, 6.75 for Mario Kart World, an 8, solid 8, unified 8 for the Switch 2. Um, Let us know in the comments what you think. Did you pick up Switch 2 on launch? Are you enjoying it? What do you think you would rate Switch 2 and Mario Kart? Does is Mario Kart a low point for you, or did you really enjoy it? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already for more of this content. We got a Donkey Kong Bonanza review coming up, the long-awaited Metaphor review, all the news and stuff that you could ever want. I think we're doing another Gen Con video because Nick spent way more money than he probably should have at Gen Con. So we gotta do something with that. um, so all of that is upcoming. So please subscribe if you haven't. It helps us out a ton. And we will see you all in the next video.
Okay.